Hello, this is Christina Worm from Download Squad. I'm here at South by Southwest 2009 with Google's Kevin Marks.
Hello.
Hello. We talked last year about Opensocial. You are, what's your...
A developer advocate. So I talk to people about Opensocial, mostly developers, encourage them to adopt it, and also work with bringing their concerns back to the Opensocial community as well.
So Opensocial launched about a year ago.
But yeah, well, we announced it a bit more than a year ago. But this time last year, we were at the point where we were about to have some releases launched, and I was saying, this thing's going to be really cool really soon.
Right, and then it launched in May, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, at the Google had a weekend or something.
Well, it was launched before that actually on some social networks, and it's grown from being on 3 social networks last year to being on about 28 social networks now with over 700 million users. So it's spread very well and very fast over the year.
So it totally took off just like you said it would.
It's with that due to lots of hard work by lots of people. But yes, exactly. I think it was an idea whose time had come. The idea of having a common social infrastructure for the web meant that lots of the developers jumped on board very quickly and said, yes, this is something we need, that we can do. They were able to sort of put their differences aside and agree on standards for this stuff, and that made it very powerful and took off very well. So where it's what we had initially was gadgets embedded in social networks.
Right.
And the point of it was that the gadgets took some context from where they were, so they knew who you were and who your friends were, and which page they were embedded in and so on, so they could take that into account and provide some context for the user. What we've moved to now is extending that across the web, which means that instead of being gadgets inside a social network, or as well as that, you can have a separate site that draws on the social network across the web. And that's the stuff that's been built in the last few months, and that's starting to be deployed now. We're starting to see that.
So it's kind of the next iteration.
Yes. What it should mean is that anywhere you go on the web, you'll be able to do the kinds of social interactions you have to go to social network sites for now, but using the same sets of friends that you bring from there.
So you can bring your social graph with you, and you can keep your user information the same without having to create new accounts all the time.
The pain of entering the forms and finding your friends over and over again should go away.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So what sort of stuff have you been seeing the community ask for, or I guess develop in response to a need?
A lot of the stuff, there's been a lot of work on the activity stream stuff going on. So the idea of when you take an action on one site, that's collected and fed to your friends and able to be seen, and that's been a big theme of South by at the moment. That's standardising that is part of that. The other stuff that we've got being discussed for the next iteration is an API for albums, so you can get photographs and videos and things, and then some more declarative ways of specifying stuff, so you don't have to write so much code. You can write it more like HTML, so template-based.
Okay, so more template-based display stuff, so that people who want to create an Opensocial either add-on or whatever connect to it don't have to go.
They have to write so much JavaScript.
Right. What's right now, I guess, you originally launched on MySpace and...
MySpace and Orkut and High5 were the first 3. Now it's... I'm trying to remember them now. LinkedIn, Netlog, Hives, 51.com. I can't remember them all. There are 28 of them. A lot of different social networks around the world. The other thing is that there are more than that, because it's an open spec process and an open source project, so people are deploying it that we don't know about. We've seen people adapt it into other systems. There was the social site project, which puts it together as a corporate thing so that you can run stuff inside the enterprise.
I was going to ask about that. So people can take the code and sort of amalgamate it for their internal networks, as well as using it for a broader social purpose.
Right, yeah. But the point is, it's a model for representing people and actions and activities on the web, so that generally, for social network sites, that maps to individuals and their friends. But for businesses, it can represent to colleagues and customers just as well. Yeah, the model is all about people, with data associated with people. The relationships between the people are not really defined tightly. One of the other things that's fairly new is Google Friend Connect.
Right, I was going to ask about that.
I say fairly new. We didn't actually launch it last year, but it's taken off a lot recently when we integrated with Blogger.
Right.
That grew the user base quite significantly. but the goal for Friend Connect is to make any site social by adding a small amount of JavaScript to it. So it builds on the open standards that comprise Opensocial and OpenID and the others, OAuth. But it means that you can just embed a little bit of JavaScript in your website, and that site becomes a social site. And then you can embed gadgets on the side that talk to it, just as you can embed gadgets in the social network sites. And last Thursday we released a set of API documentation for that lets you do client-side and server-side integration.
Very cool.
And part of the examples of that, we released plugins for WordPress and PHPBB and I forgot the third one, so that to demonstrate how you can do that.
So you can integrate it in with your blog or your forum, and automatically have people come in with their Google Friend Connect information and automatically add that social experience.
So Google Friend Connect is letting you log in with an OpenID and then connect your friend graphs from outside. So that means that you can go to a site, you can sign in quickly, and it'll draw on your photo and profile information, and it will also find your friends for you who are also members of that site. So you can get to the site and you'll see your friends there already.
So is Friend Connect, which is obviously related to a lot of the same Opensocial stuff, is that going to be deployed, or has it been deployed across a lot of the big Opensocial properties? Or
no, Friend Connect is more like glue code for the site. If you do it like Google Maps, you embed some JavaScript in your site and you get social there, so you get geo there. Okay. So it's that kind of idea. So it's mostly so far been deployed to community sites, smaller sites, web blogs, things like that. Because it's basically putting a JavaScript layer over the HTML.
Right. Okay.
The stuff that we released on Thursday is for better integration to the back end, and we expect to see more people able to do that. But that obviously takes a bit more code.
Right.
You can actually make a site social in 5 minutes with Friend Connect, and that's it's great fun. You suddenly put this stuff in, and suddenly all your friends start appearing, and they can comment on the site and do stuff like that. And that's something that you watch people do that in the light bulb, because someone said, "Oh, I didn't know I was missing this in my site, but now it's here. This is really great."
It's great, and because it uses OpenID and OAuth and all that sort of stuff, people can continue to kind of use their profiles around.
That's right. It's drawing profiles in from outside, and it's reusing the connections as much as it can.
Right. So do you see my kind of thought has been that in the future we're going to be seeing more and more this year, especially about OAuth, OpenID, and things like Friend Connect really becoming integrated into on the mass scale in lots and lots of sites. You see that.
I think that's true. I think we're going to start seeing, as this stuff gets easier and easier, it become a default part. So the assumption is that you should be able to have your friends with you wherever you are on the web, and be able to send things back to them so that they can discover them too. I think that's hopefully this time next year we'll be back here talking about this again and saying, that's a natural thing now. Of course, where do we go from there? And that's what we've seen with a lot of the discussions here about. Flow and the rise of Twitter. There is this issue of there's a lot of information coming in. One of the most powerful ways of filtering that is through people you already know and trust.
Right.
The challenge is expressing that in a way that you can use in the computer. Now the social sites have models for that for you. They've expressed that, they've gathered that. We're now to reuse in other parts of the web to make the web more useful to you and more personal to you as you travel around it.
That's excellent. Well, congratulations on everything that's happened with Opensocial in the last year, and we look forward to seeing what's going to be coming next, because I think that it's certainly a big thing that's going to be continuing to take off as the web becomes more social and people want to become more connected across the web.
I hope so. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.